Tish here with Fervently Creation Marketplace Ministry. You know how we do. I am one of the ones that believe, hey, everybody is not called to a pulpit, right? And so we have to understand that some of us are called into the let me say it because of who my guest is today. Some of us are called into the military. Some of us are called into media. Some of us are called to whatever mountain. It's seven mountains of influence, and not all of them requires a pulpit. So my question is for everybody: once God gives you a gift, how are you using it? Are you using it for the kingdom? Are you using it for kingdom business? We have to understand that there is five gospels. Yep, that's right. I said five. With my educated self, it's five. It's Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, and you. And sometimes the only one that they're gonna pay attention to is you. So the question is, once they are paying attention to you, what are they seeing? Can they look at you and be like, you know what? I can feel something off of that. Because listen, sometimes we go to people in their environments, and the first thing we want to holler is God says, and in the Bible, in First John, and if you turn to Zechariah, they don't know nothing about that, right? And so we have to know how to make ourselves relatable. A lot of us have become so what is it? So what do they call it? Spiritually minded, and we're no earthly good. We don't even know how to talk to anybody that do not speak Christianese. So my question is, once you're out there in the marketplace, who are you representing? Once you're out there in the marketplace, what do you look like? Are you still able to win souls just by being loved? The Bible tells us God is love. And so if you're out there and you representing love and you're showing them love, then you're showing them God. And once you show them God, then you can bring them into the kingdom. But a lot of times we act one way in the church, but then once we're on aisle 11, then we simply are fussing and cussing out the person that is in there, right? Everybody a Christian until somebody cut them off in traffic. That's what I said. But anyway, we're not gonna go there. Listen, what we are going to do though today, we're going to talk about faith a little bit, and I'm going to bring my guest up as we talk about this. And so we just going to slow walk this thing through today, and I'm going to bring up Dr. JayR. And after we introduce the word, then we're going to introduce Dr. JayR, and he's going to tell you a little bit about himself, and we're going to go from there. All right, how you doing, Dr. JayR?
I'm good. How you doing? Thank you for having me on your podcast.
Hey, thank you for coming on. So we're gonna slow walk this word today, and just to give people a little background of this story, where we're about to come from. We're gonna talk about faith, but as we're talking about faith, I want to go and tell you about a story within the Bible where it was um, once again Israel then went through a whole bunch of kings, and so now Ahab's son is now part of the kings, and he end up in a little trouble because after someone died, then they decide, hey, you know what? Y'all, I'm paraphrasing. You have to go read it yourself. It's in Second Kings 3. But anyway, so as they're going through, that he goes along, he gets a couple more kings to ride with him, right? Now, the process of them doing it is what we're going to read. And at first, I was going to start at verse 15, but y'all, if y'all don't mind, turn with me over to Second Kings chapter 3. I'm going to start at verse 9 and 11, and we're going to talk about that a little bit. All right. So the king of Edom and his troops joined them, and all three armies traveled along a roundabout route through the wilderness for 7 days, but there was no water for the men or their animals. Right. And so essentially, for us that's been into the military, Dr. J, right? They didn't went out on a convoy. They didn't went out on a mission. I don't know who was in charge, supply, who was in charge, but apparently they didn't plan right. They didn't plan right. And sometimes we go out in the kingdom, we go out into business, we're setting stuff up. We link up with people and we say, hey, y'all got it all together. And then you find out they didn't plan right, right? It's happening to us in the battlefield, but we see it so much more once it comes out inside the kingdom and also into entrepreneurship, right? How I said this was going to flow organically. I want you to talk about how coming out of the military, once you are dealing with people that don't have a military mindset, because we're structured, we're planning, you got to, and we need to see everything. But even then, once we was in the military, sometimes we done went out and found out that somebody forgot something that we needed, comms out or whatever. How does that look? for you?
Well, I mean, being logistically sound, you got to make sure you have your PCCs and PCIs right, your pre-combat checks and pre-combat inspections. And if we don't have the tools, which I remember going to Iraq our first time, we didn't have not near what we needed, but we was able to survive and put things together. But also communication is big, and that's through all channels, and making sure that we come up on comms and let um, the first sergeant know and the commander know, hey, this is what we need. If the supply can get this for us, if they can't, let us know how we can adjust fire. So, I think getting out the military and going into, um, just trying to find myself. I retired out the military in 2016 and trying to find myself and trying to find that the military and civilian world are two different entities. And a lot of people in the civilian world, they don't understand our mindset of the military and how critical it is for us to do things the right way because it saves lives. And if we don't do it the right way, you're going to end up losing at least one or two of your soldiers, and that's the hard way because in the military we don't learn until we lose somebody. So in that civilian world, if you lose somebody, that's jail time, that's other things that can happen to you. So I think that's the correlation that I see getting out and putting your best foot forward. It's just having a communication and it's in a set guideline to yourself and who you are as a person.
I feel that. I feel that. And then, so you actually set us up perfectly for the next one. Next verse it says, "What should we do?" The king of Israel cried out. "The Lord has brought the three of us here to let the king of Moab defeat us." Right? In the military, a lot of times, like we don't have, like we just have to be quick to react. It's a, but now as you come out and you start working in kingdom, you start working in ministry, or especially in, well, let me go back, you can't exclude it from military, but where you have to take time and say, hold on, God, what direction do I need to take? What is it that you're having me to do? What like we have to seek godly counsel, but sometimes that godly counsel comes through the perspective of us being able to talk to someone that is a coach, right?
Right.
Being
Hmm.
being able to go to someone that has training or saying, you know what, hold on, what should I do? Right? Not putting no man or anybody above us, but understanding that God sometimes give people wisdom. Like we have both life coach, mindset coaches, right? In that wisdom, same thing once it comes to a big Sarge, X, Y, and Z happen,
Hmm.
what we need to do, right?
Right.
And so when we come, a lot of times people expect us already to have the answers, and they don't understand that in business, especially in business, we don't always have the answers. As leaders, no matter at what capacity, we don't always have the answers, and we have to know how to seek help, how to seek guidance, how to go get training. What you got off that, bro?
Yeah, I think that too is big for us, not even military or civilian, just anybody. You got to start raising your hand and say, "Hey, I need help." And that was the biggest thing. Us coming from combat, a lot of us we didn't know how to ask for help because we were the help. So, I start seeing little things of my boys getting out and, hey, something's wrong. I need help. And when I raised my hand, I needed help. More people started to ask for help because it looked like it came from us. It was like, okay, if Sergeant McIntyre can do it, I can ask for that help too. And I think that's huge too out here in the civilian world and being a Christian too. Just asking for help and asking for that right type of prayer and not getting it from the person that, for say, like is capping. I need the information from the people that are really going through these situations that have really journeyed. Because we run into a lot of motivational speakers and life coaches that they ain't really living no life, and you ain't motivating nobody. You're doing it for the gram. You're doing it for the
It's
likes.
like
You're doing
it's
it for the
like the
click.
difference between the NCOs and the officers.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. Always, the NCOs are front line. We out there, and I call my NCOs out too. Some of them that, hey, if you're not really out here with your Joes, you don't really need to be giving them instructions. But definitely, them officers at the end of the day, it's like you don't really know what's really going on. You came here with your education, but we've been front line, so it's gonna have to merge. Education and experience gonna have to merge.
You know what? And that is one of the things that get me, right. Being someone that went to the military, understand the rank, but also from that NCO perspective. All right, so you hear a lot of people in Kingdom talk about, oh, the generals and the generals and stuff. And then I started looking, I'm like, y'all realize the ones that really have trained and mentored, like the lieutenant come in and a E5 E6 is the one that's training them, but
Yes,
they're nothing more than a buck private,
that's
right?
it.
But a lot of people like to throw around stuff, and it's like y'all don't understand that somebody, and I look at it the same way, in ministry, not down on anybody, but it's a lot of people that they preach stuff that they've never walked out, right? And
Right,
they'll tell you how to have faith. They'll tell you you need to have faith or keep faith, but they can't tell you how to activate that faith.
right,
They can't tell you how to move in faith or what faith even looks like, because they never really had to walk things out. They've had that they've had that spoon-fed type of life, but they never had to grow up in the hood. You see what I'm
right.
saying? Like they never had to live in a projects. They've never boiled noodles on a kerosene stove, right?
Mm,
They've never
yeah,
seen anyone shot or killed or anything. It's that type of stuff. And it's stuff that I could say, like, just even going into the military, it was like, wait a minute, the first time I seen someone murdered, I was 15 years old. So, a lot of people think, hey, the military is why a lot of people end up with PTSD and stuff like that and needing help. And it's like, no, my trauma started way before the military,
right.
way before the military. And so it's that thing of knowing to say, hold on, what should I do? When should I do it? How should I do it? How do I move in this? You know, how does that help you for as being a leader, also life coach, just like all of this of knowing, wait a minute, hold on. I don't always have the answers. So that's one thing, knowing how to check up, but also understand that somebody's also checking up to you.
Right, definitely. And that's just making sure that you are the message that you bring, right? Like I just spoke about, I believe that every speaker, every leader, every NCO, anybody in charge, don't tell them to do anything if you haven't done it yet, right? So we have a lot of people online that are selling people dreams and selling how to make $1 million, but these people live in apartments. I'm not listening to that. But you're making money fast because you're getting money off of people that you're instructed to do something and you haven't even done it yet. I'm totally against that. I will tell you exactly what I did and how I got over this trial and tribulation, and I'm gonna show you exactly what you need to do to go through it. I'll never talk about a situation that I never encountered, or even I don't. That's gossip. That's Barrick's. That's Barrick's lawyer, Barrick's doctor. Like I don't have time for that. I need to understand the mission because, like I said, if I don't give you the vital information, you can lose your life out here, mentally, spiritually, or physically. So,
That's good. That
yeah,
is real good. All right, so I'm gonna go over here to where, it says, but King Jehoshaphat of Judah asks, "Is there no prophet of the Lord with us? If there is, we can ask the Lord what to do through him." Right? Kind of going back to that wise counseling, knowing who to go to, where to go, and a lot of times we turn around and get counsel from people that is just they're saying what they seen, what they pulled up on Chat GPT,
right,
or they're saying what they heard other people say, or they're preaching what they heard other people preach, but nobody is living out. It's they have knowledge, but it's not applied. They have information, but they don't have applied knowledge. Because
right,
because
exactly.
without application, you have nothing but information.
That's it. Yeah, I believe that too, and that's what you see going on right now. Even with the Bible, a lot of people that are quoting scriptures and doing certain things, it's like you really don't believe what you're saying. It just sounds good because you're hashtagging it. Are you really believing that message? How well do you know that they marched around that wall 7 times, Jericho? All these things you don't know that situation. So if you don't know it and it sounds good, it may could spark a conversation online, but deep down in your heart, who did you lead wrong to that wrong lake? So I believe that we also have to understand too, it's a whole mind, body, and soul thing, especially out here in this leadership world and coaching and being the forefront, right? Everybody have a mic, everybody have a camera, but are you saying the right substance, right? So
And I like that because it's a thing to where you have a lot of people that read the Bible, but they don't study the Bible.
right,
And some of them do not even read. They know the Bible highlights. They know David. They know some of Elijah. They know who Elisha is. You know
right,
what I'm saying? We know the gospel highlights. We can tell you
right,
about Abraham and Jacob, and we can tell you about Mary, and we can tell you about Jonah. They know the gospel highlights. And then from that, because they never studied, then they like to go in and then try to criticize or talk about those that do. And it's like once you read the Bible, you have to understand, just as you said, it applies to your mind, body, soul, and spirit. And so a lot of times people read it and they just read it with one understanding. But if you take that thing and apply it to the different layers, it will open up a whole nother realm to you, whole nother realm. But
A whole
again, they just go in and they go to church and they listen to the people that repeat the same sermons year after year.
yeah,
Every Easter, it's the same sermon. Every
yeah.
Christmas, like everybody preach the same thing, and it's like, come on, man.
Check it off the
Everybody,
block.
everybody in the same way. All right, you roll them
Yeah,
out, they stretch them out. It's like,
yeah,
come on, dude.
right. That's like it is actually when the general comes or the sergeant major of the post, it's a dog and pony show for these holidays because that's the same message they give, and really ain't nobody really paying attention to it because it's not sounding like it's supposed to, or you're just repeating what you heard. How about
Yeah,
reaching out and correlating it to the message at hand today? You can do that. You can tie it in with scenario based today and make sure that the youth understand and the people that don't know the Bible understand, and you can have a building block off what that is, you know?
yeah, yeah. They and not take it out of context.
Right,
Not take it.
exactly.
All right. So it said, Elisha replied, "As surely as the Lord Almighty lives." Well, hold on. Let me go back for the people for just to catch y'all up for in between time. So between here 11 and 15, this right here is verse 15. Elisha didn't want to go, right? And sometimes, especially those of us that been in the military, we understand sometimes God would give us orders, or God would give other people orders or whatever that they have to follow. And you may not want to go, but because your loyalty, right? So in this situation, Elisha did not want to um Elisha did not want to actually give the prophetic word or seek the Lord for their guidance. However, because of King Jehoshaphat, he of who he respected, he did, right? So here it says, Elisha replied, "As surely as the Lord Almighty lives, whom I serve, I wouldn't even bother with you except for my respect for King Jehoshaphat of Judah." And he said, "Now bring me some water. No, bring me someone who can play the harp." Let's well, I mean, it said, while the harp was being played, the power of the Lord came upon Elisha. I'm gonna stop. I want you to touch that before I touch it.
Right.
Why do
So,
you think that before anything happened, a sound had to go out first?
because you can't fake frequency. You know, I tell people all the time, you can't fake that energy, that type of synergy, that frequency. It's a different type of megahertz. And some people are out here faking the frequency. That's why he had him play the harp and understand that, hey, that harp is such a beautiful instrument and it's a different type of sound. And it's a different type of person who can play that. So whoever can play this, I need to hear this so I can figure out what I need to go moving forward. But basically, in layman's sense, is what right now you can't fake that type of frequency.
No, no, and that's the thing. And once it comes to frequency and sound, we have to understand that it's a certain it's a reason why once you say the word, whether you call him Jesus or Yeshua, you're releasing a frequency out your mouth. Because what is frequency? It's sound. What is
Hmm.
sound? Sound is vibrations,
Hmm.
right? And so it was a certain frequency that had to go out first. For one, I don't know if it was two, because Elisha still was like, nah, ain't fixing it. I'm not rocking with y'all. Whatever it was, no matter what the reason was, a sound had to precede the instructions.
Hmm.
As and obedience also had, he said, bring me someone, right? Now, the all the instructions after this point, none of this makes sense. I'm sitting here trying to figure out how this army that is about to come upon us, they in fear for their life, and you talking about bring somebody to play a harp? To play,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like what is she talking about?
yeah, definitely.
They over here talking about they got bunker bumps and bombs, and you talking about get a harp?
Get a heart. Yeah, I think it was a type of strategic plan that he did. Yeah, definitely.
Which is good because you mentioned earlier, the marching around 7 times, or I think you did mention something, but Jericho, right? Even then, what had to proceed first? Music. A sound
Music.
had to come out first.
Yep.
Them said their instructions of walking around for 7 times. It was, nah, it don't sound right. And sometimes God have us do stuff especially once it comes into starting a business, getting out the military, for whatever, or just that shift, it does not sound right. And it
Right.
sounds scary,
Right.
especially after being in the military for so many years. They say, hey, we just like people that was in prison, we become institutionalized.
Mm.
So now you're telling me to go out into a space, go out into an atmosphere to where my sound sounds violent to people. My sound sounds aggressive to people. My sound intimidates people. My sound don't sound like theirs because we're used to having the hard conversation.
Right. Mm.
How did you have to adjust your sound coming out of military but going into entrepreneurship?
Mm.
Going also as that motivational speaker.
Well, when I went into entrepreneurship, I went straight into starting a security company. I was doing something for my passion. It wasn't my gift. And I had to tailor it like that to that because a lot of people didn't understand. And my wittiness and aggressiveness getting out the military. First of all, when I got out, I had to do 77 days inpatient. So I was in the hospital 3 or 4 times, trying to fix my mental health and PTSD and TBI and all these things that I went through. And then after that, I wanted to start a company, and it was security, something I was good at, bodyguarding. So I did it. But God was like, that ain't your gift. I didn't never tell you to do that. But I had to just fire and pivot after my bankruptcy, after COVID, and say, you know what? God was like, now you ready to listen? Your daddy's a bishop. Your grandfathers are ministers. I told you to speak, boy. So when I started to speak life into myself, it started to change the algorithm of my life. So
Right. That was kind of my path of coming out, and that depression hit me hard because I didn't come out on my own terms. Being dual military was like, oh, we had conversations of how we was gonna sit on the board together, be picking with the NCOs coming in, trying to say they creed, NCO creed, and all. We had our whole little thing of us retiring together from the military. So once I had a surgery that they took the wrong part out my knee and ended my military career, I was devastated. And
hmm,
then to come out, like, to hear that, and then I also came out with hearing loss in both ears, wearing hearing aids, right? In my 30s, got
hmm,
hearing aids in both ears. So that was devastating. That mental health process was something serious. And I don't think people under like that, because at that part I was no longer part of something that was greater than myself.
hmm,
That's what I felt like, right? And then on top of it, I had a passion for working out. So now I can no longer work out.
hmm.
I can no longer go into to the gym. I mean, I was one of them ones that did Shanti in the morning, when it did PT because they had me on profile. So I would go and do PT, then turn around, get off work, and be back in the gym again.
Wow.
Right. And then all of a sudden, all of it ends. So it crushes. And I had to realize, for one, it was the sound, the frequency that I was releasing in myself because of what I was saying and what I was speaking and I was believing about myself. So I had to shift that. But music was one of my tools to help me through that process. And so the instructions that I received, that did not sound like, it sounded weird, but I would listen to one song all day, every day. Why? Because when I was no longer listening to that song, then my mind didn't go into other ways. It started playing that song. And
Right.
so my idle thoughts began to be whatever song. And so I started waking up, and God would give me my song every morning. I
Mm,
wake up with a song in my head. Sometimes it only be a little bit. And so that sound is so important of what you are doing and allowing it to readjust the
mm.
frequency within your own body.
Right. Definitely. Sound heals a lot of people too. They do it. Frequency, sound. You know.
I don't know
Yeah.
if you know. Look, I'm gonna say it now because I'm just not scared of the devil like that. And, but um, how I got my hearing back was putting tuning forks by my ears, and so I no longer wear hearing aids anymore.
Yeah. Wow.
No longer wear hearing aids anymore,
Wow.
right? And so, but it came through sound, learning
Right.
how to listen to the sounds or listening to certain frequencies at night while I was listening, and it helped me recalibrate my body because that stuff was causing tension, causing pain. And so it helped so much. But again, it's so important. Again, this is why we have to study our body and Bible and not just read it. Because someone that just read the Bible, they would easily say, you know what, yeah, put on some Fred Hammonds, put on some Marvin Sapp. And it's like, nah, you're gonna have to go deeper than that. You're gonna have to go and get some pure sounds.
Right, right.
All right, so it says, and he said, this is what the Lord said. This dry, oh my bad, let me go back. Okay, they was playing a harp, right? He said, this is what the Lord says, this dry valley will be filled with pools of water. He said, you will see neither wind nor rain. And says the Lord, but this valley will be filled with water. You will have plenty for yourselves and for the cattle and for other animals. But this is only a simple thing for the Lord, and he will make you victorious over the army of Moab. You will conquer the best of their towns and even the fortified ones. You will cut down all their good trees, stop up their springs, and ruin all their good lands and stones. So let me go back, apparently I didn't put that to play the harp. Yeah, I don't see it on here. After he had told him to play the harp, he had told them to dig. They told them to dig ditches, right? This is the part I wanted to talk to you about once it comes to activating your faith. He told them to dig ditches, and these in these ditches that they dig, this is what turned up later to be filled with a pool of water. The army, their opposing army had came in, and the way the sun was shining on it, it made it look like pools of blood. So they went off the assumption that all the three kings and stuff got to fighting and they murdered each other. So they said, let's go in and just take the spoils. So in other words, they was about to go in and just take all the goods. It was a setup, and it caused them to get ambushed. And then, okay, so for me, once I read that and I thought about your thing for its activating faith, it depended on how many ditches they dug. Because you could dig one ditch, that wasn't gonna do nothing. That wouldn't, but they continue to dig ditches. And it worked according to their level of faith. And sometimes God tells us to do a thing, and we just do a little small piece of it just because we don't understand it.
Right.
We'll stop. It's another Bible story where Elisha, same thing. He had told the king to pull the arrows back, and he pulled, I think, shot like 3 times. He said you should have, and he told him you should have shot more times to do something. And even though it don't make sense, you can't just dig one. Hey, God telling me to do this, I don't understand it, but I'm gonna continue to do it. I'm gonna dig till I can't dig no more. I'm gonna dig a ditch here, I'm gonna dig a ditch here, I'm gonna dig a ditch here. And so they dug, apparently they dug enough ditches to where they had thought that it was a big massacre. Because it was at least 3,000 with one of them. I think it was like, so that meant they had to have dug enough ditches to give off the fact that it had been a massacre of all 3 armies. Now that's faith.
That's faith of a mustard seed too, that they had to understand that. Like that was a tactical advantage they was trying to have. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so sometimes we miss that God is trying to give us a tactical advantage on a situation,
Yep.
and we just do the bare minimum.
Yep. Definitely.
We become subpar.
Yeah. We started to question God.
What you got?
We started questioning God, like why we got to dig these holes, why we got to put pools of water, what's going on, all these things. God said, just do it, just do it. We're gonna come back. That's what God told me to do when I first started to speak life into myself after the bankruptcy and the fourth suicide ideation. God was like, just speak life into yourself. I'm like, God, why? Just do it. And then he was like, put it on social media. God, why? Just do it. And then this year, I got signed last year to Los Angeles Tribune Podcasting. Shout out to them. And they only want a certain amount of episodes and seasons this year. God put on my heart to do 100 episodes this year. And I'm like, God, why do I just do it? and I'm doing it, and I'm being obedient because God has a plan. It's harvest season. Everything you done planted for 3, 4, 5 years is coming to the fruits in the land right now. And that's what we're doing right here. And that's why we're talking and having this conversation, because it's harvest season, and I'm listening, and I'm being obedient, and I'm digging my holes because that water's coming, you know.
Yeah. And the thing is, once it comes to reaping and sowing, right? Once a lot of times, once people talk about it, they don't realize the hard work. It's hard work.
Right.
It is. I'm trying not to hear that cadence in my head, but it's
The
hard work.
hard work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what entrepreneurship feel like.
Yes.
That's what life feels like. That's what walking by faith feels like. And so a
Exactly.
lot of us turn around and we don't match our mind and our heart up together with what it is. Just like, well, I believe he's gonna do it. Well,
Right.
if I believe he's gonna do it, let me put the action behind it.
Right.
And so
Definitely.
a lot of us have lip service, but we don't really believe it in our heart.
Say that again. Say that again, man. A lot of people don't. They just talk about it. And then, like I said, social media is one thing that everybody want to hashtag and blow up and all this stuff, but you're not really living in your life like that. You're not really understanding. You're not really believing it. Because if you did, you will be being obedient. You just doing it because it looked good. You're a hypocrite. You know what I'm saying? That's what you're doing. You know? Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's my thing. It's just like even being called to social media. Um was I we text earlier, right? And so I asked you what was your Facebook. You said I don't have Facebook, right? I started texting like, man, I wish, because I don't like social media. But apparently that's what I'm called to, because God, and then got called back into this whole podcast stuff again.
Yeah.
But I'm called to that realm, because we have to. He said he left the 99 to go get the ones. Look, the 99 up in the church is a whole bunch of the ones that have left out.
Yeah.
They
Definitely.
refuse to go into church. And the
Right.
only way we can reach them is through social media. The only
Right.
way we can reach them is going to where they're at. So they're on YouTube, they're on Facebook, they're on LinkedIn, they're on Instagram, they're on TikTok. And we can sit here and we can complain about those avenues, or we can go and be obedient because God is deploying us into an area that we don't like.
Right. Exactly. And I
Because
know. Go ahead.
no, you go ahead.
I know you was laughing like, oh, you don't have Facebook. No, God told me a few years ago to get off Facebook because um it was clogging my judgment, because family, friends, people that saw me grow up, military, they wasn't supporting my mission. No likes, no comments, but knew everything I was doing. Instagram, 226 followers, 226,000 followers support me more than my own family and friends, people that grew up with me, because they don't think it should be me. Or not Bishop McIntyre's son. Yeah, this is me. And you see my failures, you see my growth, you see everything I've been through. But guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get off social media, and when I come back, y'all can only buy tickets from my pops. Y'all can only get the situation at hand, because at the end of the day, this is what we do. You know what I'm saying? This is
Right.
how we grind, and I don't have time for people to the doubters and the failures and all that stuff like that. So, yep,
Okay. So speaking of faith, right? I didn't want to be cliche-ish, because I started to go to Peter. But since you brought me back to Peter, we're gonna go. I'm gonna be obedient. I think that was the issue with Peter, getting out of the boat, coming out of that boat, right? And as Peter is coming out of that boat, he happened to look back, and the homeboy is still in the boat. They didn't move. And a lot of times we look back, and the ones that we have been rocking, they didn't move.
mm-mm.
And then it makes us question, hold on, am I doing right? Am I crazy? And so sometimes we have to remove ourselves from those
Right,
atmospheres.
right. I had to, you know what I'm saying? It was clouding my judgment, but God was like, "Don't get back on Facebook until you graduate with your doctorate, which is this December, and until you are the multi-million dollar speaker, like you said." And I'm there. I'm one speech away. I'm all over the world. I'm globally. I'm getting ready to go to London, Africa, all these things. But these people
You
like
going on
you.
London too this year?
Oh yeah, I got two trips to London already booked up for to go speak out there. So I
What
late.
month are you going?
February 28th is one of the tours I'm on, and then another time in April.
I'll be there in July speaking.
In July, okay, yeah, that's my birthday's in July. What part of July?
July 19th,
Okay,
around the 19th. I have to look at the flyer again.
my mine is the 18th. My
Oh,
birthday's the
okay.
18th. Yeah,
Oh, your
so
birthday's the 18th.
the
Okay, okay.
18th. Yeah, definitely. But yeah. So I just think that it's very important for us just to stay grounded in who we are, and I did that. That was the type of discipline I wanted. You know what I'm saying? Because I wanted people, strangers, to mention to my aunties and uncles or friends that I grew up with and say, "Hey, you heard of the Hub Motivator Doctor? Oh, that's my friend. I grew." You don't you don't know this version of me because you didn't support that version of me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. When you shifting and coming out of, I heard you mention the suicide, right? And a lot of times, females, we are kind of open with our emotions and can talk about certain stuff. And what I say about men is that, women, we cry in public, men cry in the shower, because just to even the fact that tears are even coming down y'all's face, y'all have to blend that in sometimes,
right,
but y'all don't
right,
have a safe place. In the military, we're kind of taught that, hey, you go to sick call, make you weak or whatever. You go to behavior health, and so it's all the stigma and stuff that goes on. And then you get out the military, and then they got you on all these different prescriptions that kind of leave you like a zombie. How did you regain your life back?
Oh man, you know, first of all, just praying. Jim and prayer saved my life, and just started to speak life into myself first. I couldn't help anybody else until I helped myself, and going through that, it was hard because, I was prescribed so many medicines and I did what I needed to do, and did hospitalization for 3 inpatient, 77 days in the inpatient program, go to Costa Rica, do ayahuasca, bufo, Reiki, all these things to try to get myself back into, you know, um, the right frequency with my life. And I started to move forward when I started to be honest with myself and say, hey, something's wrong. Let me fix it. And before I can fix it, I got to fix myself. And then I can go through that problem and that situation. So that's where I really took my power back, was just fixing myself first.
Yes, and I think like the once you go through the process, doing your inner work, right?
Yes.
Looking at the inner me and understanding, hold on, the kingdom of God is within me, and it's something in my temple. It's something like, for some reason my mind is not right. And for me, the medications that the military had me on, that has been the most demonic thing I've ever done.
Right.
you know, um, I would say once it comes to the spirit of pharmakia, once we talk about, and I'm not saying all medicine. Now I say this openly. I don't say this. I'm not referring to all medicine, but any medicine that if any time I stop taking it and it started giving me suicidal thoughts, that's not of God.
Right.
Witchcraft, sorcery, and all that stuff is wrapped, or sorcery is wrapped up in manipulation and control. At that point, that means I have to rely on you to survive. If I have to rely on the applause of people to survive, now I have placed that before God.
Right.
And I think coming off the medication was one of the steps, but the other things was knowing my identity, knowing my identity, and knowing my identity, my spiritual origin. So once I say identity, I'm not saying, oh, I'm a combat veteran. I'm not saying, oh, I'm a mom, I'm a wife, because my identity at one point was wrapped up in all of that stuff.
Right.
But once I learned my spiritual origin, my spiritual, that is what kind of shifted me. And I believe a lot of times people go their path and their journey a different way, but we have to start questioning some of this stuff that's kind of going through, the stuff that we've normalized, the stuff that we have became in agreement with. Question for you: got some books coming up this year?
Yes, I have 2 books out, and I have another book being released in February. Yes.
Okay, let's talk about it real quick. We got, if you don't mind.
Yeah, definitely. I have a book come out that's out that's on Amazon, from the block to the board. And then I have another book out called The Elephant on Amazon. And then my third book is coming out February 15th, my dad's birthday. It's called A Good Heart Don't Pay Bills. And that just tells
Okay,
about entrepreneurship journey of getting out the military, starting my company, failing, and looking for processes how to bounce back, and then becoming a number 44 top motivational speakers in the world. So
that's awesome. That path, how did that path just blow up? It was one of those things that one day you was walking in it.
what are you talking about, writing a book, being an author?
No, you're well, Forrest the author, the author part, but Forrest the speaker.
Mm. So
Yeah.
I've been groomed for it since I was little. My dad been, you know what I'm saying, I was listening to Zig Ziglar at like 10, 11 years old in the car, A and B side tapes. My dad gave me a briefcase instead of a backpack for school when I was 12 or 13. Um, every time Christmas, Easter came up, or just an opportunity to speak, he would give me the mic, and I didn't even want it. Like, why are you doing this? I don't want to talk, but I knew how to pronounce all the names in the Bible and parables. And then when I went at my lowest after retiring out the military, then God was like, "You ready to listen now? You went a long way, but you went the wrong way." And when I started to speak and use my voice and my birthright, what God gave me, it just all took off.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So as we get ready to shift out and get ready to close out, if you could tell anybody anything about activating faith, and not the cliche, not the surface level, but how to dig deep and like what does it mean to you for us activating faith?
Well, yeah,
What would you say?
I have this speech called activation of your gift, and everybody has a gift. And I know that God blessed everybody with a gift in multiple gifts. You just got to know how to activate that. And the cliche is, faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. But you know how small faith is? It's smaller than the faith of a mustard seed. That's little. You have to understand. You got to believe something that's not even there. You gotta use your voice and your affirmations and manifestations and pray. And your words are powerful, not just for the negative, for the positive. So when you speak it into fruition and say it's going to happen, it's going to happen. Like you said it. So don't, like, I want to tell people right now in this podcast, you got to stop speaking negative about yourself. When I started to speak more positive about myself, I ended up right here, and I continue to, because it's powerful and it's words, and it holds you accountable. So I would tell you on this podcast that, hey, if you receive the work and know that you're able to do it, put your best foot forward out there. Tell the world that you're coming and you're going to do it, and put belt to butt. You're coming. This is what God gave you. And right now, I'm relentless right now. I'm relentless. Since January, already knocked out 2 seasons. I'm speaking 5 to 7 times a month. I'm all over the world. This is what I'm doing. I speak tomorrow at USF College right now. So God is good. This is a mission, and this is a process. And thank you for having me on your podcast.
Awesome. Can you tell people how to get in touch with you, how they can book you if they want you to come out for a speaker, if they want to for us coaching, how to purchase your books? I know you did say Amazon as well, but can you run those names back in case they missed it, and anything else of how anyone can connect and talk to Dr. J if they want to?
Yeah, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put my website inside of the chat room, and my website has everything from my books to my speaking engagements to where I'm going to be speaking at the next, to what's coming next for me, from my clothes, my gear, everything. So my website is a one-stop shop, and I also create kids cartoons. So everything is on there. I just posted it. It's the hoodmotivator.com, THA hood HOOD MOTIVATOR.com.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Listen, I thank you so much for taking the time, coming out and speaking with me. Listen, you were my first show, and so
It's
Look,
all
I'm glad
good.
I was able to do that with a battle buddy because you
Yeah,
made it easy. And hold on one second, y'all. We're gonna put this in here for y'all. Give me one
yeah.
second because definitely want y'all to connect.
My
Definitely want y'all.
Spotify and my Apple is on that too. So I have a podcast called The Motivators Table, which I would love to have you on. And you know what I'm saying? Everything is a one-stop shop on my website. So if you click on it right now, you can show them that everything is on there. So
Okay. And you know what? Let me. Do you mind if we click on it and
yeah, go ahead,
just
yeah,
show
show
them?
them. Yeah, show them. I'm right
Okay.
here. Yeah, I'm right here.
All right. Let's. Heard you mention the kid cartoons.
Yes.
I just had one reason why it was a delay with me. I'm transparent, y'all. So, and what y'all see is what y'all get, whether I'm behind the show or in front of the show. One of the reasons I was delayed in reaching out to you is because I was trying to figure out how to make some kid cartoons initially. Well, I wanted to make Bible cartoons,
Right.
but just and then so I figured it out. But then I was just like,
I'm gonna show you my hold on, I'm gonna give you well my kids cartoons on my YouTube, which my YouTube is connected to my internet. I mean to my website. So you could take a look
okay,
at that too. So but go ahead. I don't know if you're taking a look at it. Let me know if you see I have these sketches that I'm gonna show you real quick. So
okay. So we have your website up here. This right
okay.
here is where you could go and book. It says connect
Yeah.
with us on here.
Yes, you
Um,
see. So you see
so
the
yes.
if you click on the cart. That's the cartoon, and if you click on the sketch, you see those are just some of the characters that's coming soon this year. And if you click on the sketch, go back up and click on the sketch. That's a sketch how it's in the playground, I believe.
On the playground.
Yeah, the sketch, and it take you to my. So click on that. Coming soon.
What's up, everyone? I'm Mr. JayR McIntyre, known as the Hood Motivator. Today, I want to talk to you about how to rise up when life pushes you down.
So I have a whole little series on that.
Okay.
Yeah,
I know
That is
tough
awesome.
times. I grew up in Long Beach, California, facing the harsh realities of poverty and street life every single day.
yeah.
So
So
let's.
you can see my events and all that stuff. So give that to the people if they want to book me. They can have my work number on there, my email, everything. So let's get to it. And I got a TED talk
Awesome.
coming up in Orlando in October.
Listen, I'm definitely looking forward to connect, reaching out to you.
Yeah,
Listen, make sure y'all go to his website, thehoodmotivator.com, right? Make sure you connect. Like we don't bring people on here just to be bringing people on here. We want you to connect. We want you to collaborate with everyone that comes on. Or this is if you're watching this show is not just this you wasn't here just to get information,
right,
apply it. And so
right,
if nothing else, go there and figure out it's some way that you can connect with him, it's some way that you can apply the knowledge. If not, if you still looking for more, he's also a coach. Get with him, coach with him, find
right.
out where he's speaking at. Go mentor with him, whatever it is. Or so hey, this is a man full of knowledge. Let me say congratulations on your doctoral in December as
Yes,
well. And thank you for all. I also noticed that we didn't get a chance to get to it, but thank you for all that you have done and all that you do for the
yes,
veterans and the
yes,
veteran community. So
yes.
thank you for that. Thank you for that.
Appreciate it. And I'm a proud member of the Phi Beta Sigma Blue Phi. You already know what time it is. Yeah, yeah,
All right.
yes,
All right. So listen, make sure we also have his Instagram. So make sure you connect with him as well on Instagram. He's also on there as the Hood Motivator on there as well. So reach out, connect, collaborate with him. Don't a the it don't just follow it and like. If you on his page, comment,
yeah,
connect, collaborate, share the stuff, get the information out. A lot of times we look and say that we ain't supposed to be evangelizing. Let me tell you, sharing is the easiest form of evangelism. So share his message. Share his message. Whatever he's doing, share it out. So I would definitely be getting on Instagram, connecting with you, following you, and making sure that I stay connected with you. And look forward to hearing you speak. You are going to be speaking June 20th, and not June 6th or 7th in Tampa.
In Tampa, yeah.
Right. So look, he is part of the Together We Create for Kids author book tour. So make sure you connect as well with him on that. We will be getting more information out about that tour on the next show. So thank you for coming. And with that, we will close out. So y'all have a great night. We'll see y'all next week.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Welcome.